Is there a stigma that exists?
Oh yeah, totally. There's a stigma that exists. And it's crazy now being sober. I've witnessed it on both ends, being the one that they do it to, and then being on the other side of it and seeing other people, getting treated like that.
You get a little desensitized to somebody's story when you've heard it so many times. I did it to my family. I'm done. I'm never doing this again. And then the next Friday I'd be off on a run again.
It would be nice to be able to show people that we really are normal people and that we can live a healthy and functional life if, we make that decision and have the help and resources to be able to do it. And so that's mostly the reason why I'm willing to do this and show my story. So.
Pretty much every addict goes through that, where you don't just surrender at one point and say, I need help. It's a long process. It's a long disease. And if you're blessed enough to make it out, you have to reach that point, and it takes a lot of false starts.
I'm going to be the daughter of an addict that never went down that path. And so when I did start to go down that path, I refused to ask for help because I didn't want anybody to know. Everybody knew. Everybody knew before I did.
I believe that people have either had that with somebody that they love, they've watched somebody suffer and die, or they've never been exposed to it. I've heard from people, I don't know any addicts. I don't know anybody that's going through it. And I'm like, you probably do, you just don't know it, but you will. I just feel like it touches everybody at some point, in some way.
I believe that even helping one person or getting somebody into recovery and it works, or anything when you try to help somebody or a group of people, that if one of them is helped, then you've succeeded. So I guess I've made that point.
It's been 3 years, but eventually, people are gonna. I just feel like that stigma can eventually lift off of me, by just making right choices, and that's what I do. My name's Richard Kenny. I'm 52 years old. Grew up in Grace Harbor County my entire life.
My name is Ashley Dayton. I've lived in Grace Harbor since I was 10 years old.
My name is Siobhan Sampson. I've lived in Grace Harbor since I was 12 years old.
So anyway, my name's Brad Andrews.
My name is Donna.
My name's Kiana. I'm 28 years old. I am from and have lived in Grace Harbor, Aberdeen area my entire life. This is where I have failed and succeeded at life. So.
My name is Sherry Reeves. I live in Grace Harbor County, but I'm originally an Air Force brat, so I've lived all over. I originally moved here thinking I was getting away from my addiction. I ended up in Westport for a couple of years and found out that wherever I go, there I am. Ended up back in active addiction and continued that on for another couple of years until I got clean.
It's probably one of the best feelings is being accepted again.
I know that there's hope out there for people. I know what it's like to have to live with the stigma of being an addict and having mental health conditions, and just not living up to my full potential.
I just wish everybody can just quit. But it just doesn't happen like that. It don't. You gotta find them the right treatment, the right people that can help them.
Stigma, I think, is an uneducated viewpoint. An uneducated or uninformed bias that, basically what you don't understand, you fear or get angry at.
Oh, I'm never gonna get better. I'm just gonna be a junkie my whole life.
The stigma, I think, is, being a drug addict, you're a piece of shit. You're pretty much a low life. You have nothing going for you.
They're just gonna think I'm trash, never like, oh, they might try to help me. Like, oh, they're gonna think badly of me.
Well, I'm just getting out of treatment, and they were like, oh, well, no, we're not going to rent to you because I'm an addict. And they didn't understand that I knew that I was done. I knew I was done, but they couldn't really trust me. And I kind of understand it, but it was still a stigma.
People already have a painted picture in their mind of like what an addict is or how an addict starts. They're, gonna come from trash homes. They're gonna come from unloved homes.
Once in a while, whether I'm leaving the store or wherever, I'll run into somebody that's struggling in their addiction. I started to avoid those people because I didn't want to be seen. So there's a stigma that I was having.
The looks that people would give me when I'd walk into a store after I'd been up for a couple of days, and I'd look like I'd been up for a couple of days. When I would talk to somebody to ask them for help and they would turn their nose up at me, I felt stigmatized.
I see it every day, people walking by or something that aren't clean or, whatever, they get treated like garbage.
I had to do an IV. I said, by the way, I'm just let you know I'm a hard stick. Used to be on, heroin and been on methadone for a couple years now. She was friendly and engaging. Up until I mentioned methadone or drugs, and I felt crappy again. It's just like, is this ever gonna leave me alone? You took somebody who'd been riding pretty high in his recovery and knocked me down a few pegs. I hadn't been looked at like as a dirty junkie in a long time, and it hurt. It always does. We are not bad people. We've just made some bad decisions, or this disease has helped along those bad decisions. Just showing that there's still a person underneath there.
It doesn't ever go away, but it'll chemically change your brain because it's a disease. It's not just a character defect.
As I was a little girl, I had interstitial cystitis, and I've had a lot of surgeries through the years. I wasn't ever on opioids for the fun or for the euphoria high. I was on it for my pain level. I never thought I would get hooked on them or I'd feel like I needed them. In this last year and a half, I decided it was time for me to try something new, which is called Suboxone. But it was a big step to do this. And don't ever be ashamed of yourself, of any kind of drugs you're hooked on. It's a disease. It's a disease.
What you see when you see somebody in active addiction is not representative of that person. It's representative of their disease. People seem to think that a disease is something you can see. That's not true. What about diabetes? Type 2 diabetes can be something that you give yourself. It's the same with addiction. You're just using a substance that gets out of control, but it causes a process. And there's a biological change that happens, and that's what makes it a disease. That and the fact that it can be treated but not cured.
When it gets to the actual disease, when it takes over, you are no longer in control.
A friend of mine committed suicide because he felt like he had nobody who gave a shit or was there willing to support him or take him in the direction to get help.
When you're already altered and you have an extremely negative experience at your most vulnerable, that can lead to death.
That could make or break somebody.
I was not willing to try a treatment, try something that could save my life, because I had a misunderstanding of what it is.
Once I was told, you have a disease for which there is no known cure, but it can be managed and we can help you do that. It was, the weight of the world was lifted off of me, because I said, I need help. I needed to be powerless in order to receive the power.
It takes extraordinary circumstances to wake you out of that.
People think that because methadone is just another opiate, that it is substituting one for the other. If you work the program correctly the way it's meant to be, it helps you stay level-headed, I think, and it helps you to learn to live a productive life.
There's more than one way to do something. Like I said, there's more than one way to get clean. There's only one way to stay clean, and that's not to use.
It's a lifelong process to keep from relapse.
I think the more people are educated and understand the type of steps and things it takes to get on the other side of it, and helping people understand it more would make addicts more comfortable to go and look for help or look for outlets in order to change their lives around. I think they wouldn't be so afraid to seek help and treatment.
Because you can't just walk up and go, "Here, Austin, read this and learn all about drugs." No. It's, would you like to come and have a hot dog and a Coke with me and just talk? Show you that I am a person?
Now people are starting to look at me differently, like, she can do it. If she can do it, maybe there's help for others.
I feel like it takes maybe 10 of those little glimmers of hope to make up for the one scowl that you got. It just brings somebody's humanity back just that little bit more each time it happens. And so the more of those that somebody gets, the faster they're going to get back to a point of maybe feeling like they might be worth helping. It's frustrating for the person that's trying to help somebody in addiction. Like, I tried everything. It's like, well, okay, but it's not your journey, it's theirs. They're not ready. Doesn't take very much at all to tear somebody down. It takes a little more work to build somebody back up. And so the more of us that are doing that, the faster we might see some healing in people.
Giving someone the confidence that they don't know they have, but is there, just by being a good person, is a beautiful thing.
I think it's possible to end the stigma. I think the more of us that are using our powers for the good, our human powers for the good, the easier it'll be. The more acceptable it becomes to lend a helping hand, to give a hand up, to smile at somebody that you would not normally smile at, to look at us all as another person on this planet. And it just takes each of us doing our part.
My story isn't unique in that there are other people out there that are going through similar things, or they have gone through similar things.
I think the whole stigma thing is huge. It's up to the individual to break that stigma. I don't think anybody can break it for them.
Only one person saw this whole piece. Only one person changed their mind.
Mm-hmm. Then it'd be a success.
Why?
Because you changed that person's life. And yeah, because then that person starts talking to Sarah, is it? And then Sarah starts talking to Patty.
Be kind. Be kind with your words and your actions, and not be so judgmental and closed off to people. because 99% of the time, the addict that you're being, shitty to is somebody's child, mother, father, brother, sister.
You can get that child back that you loved so much, that, that whatever family member, whatever friend you had in high school, that person's still in there. The disease changes us. It changes our actions. It changes our moral compass. It changes so many things. We're still people, and we're still worthy of respect as a human being.
You have to remember you're dealing with a deeply hurt, deeply flawed human being, and it takes a lot to get back.
It's the little things along the way, I think, that really add up in the long run. So when somebody is ready, they've got a little bit more of that hope message that can hopefully override that giant message of shame.
5 minutes a day, just be that ear, be that person, be that phone call that they know will answer. Saves people's lives.